This is Tom and Paula Graves from Light of Christ Radio with a story about the refining journey of Joseph.
You are welcome to watch this video simply for the story, or you can use this as the basis for a small group study.
Instructions for the small group study can be found below in the Show More section.
Today we continue our series called Joseph's Refining Journey based on the story of Joseph. Today's story is of Joseph being sold from Genesis 37.
Well, Paula, to set the context of our story, Joseph was born into a dysfunctional family, one father and four mothers.
Yes, Joseph's father, Jacob, married two sisters who had two maids, and the sisters were competing to see who could have the most children.
Yet, this is a family God chose to work through with his covenant. Joseph was Jacob's favorite son, and Jacob had shown his favoritism by giving him a special coat, and this made the brothers jealous.
Then, when Joseph shared two dreams that seemed to show that all the brothers would bow down to him, the brothers were enraged and couldn't say a kind thing to him, which leads us to a story from the Word of God.
Soon after this, Joseph's brothers went to pasture their father's flock at Shechem. When they had been gone for some time, Jacob said to Joseph, "Your brothers are pasturing the sheep at Shechem. Get ready, and I will send you to them."
"I'm ready to go," Joseph replied.
"Go and see how your brothers and the flocks are getting along," Jacob said. "Then come back and bring me a report."
So Jacob sent him on his way, and Joseph traveled to Shechem from their home in the valley of Hebron. And when he arrived there, a man from the area noticed him wandering around the countryside.
"What are you looking for?" he asked.
"I'm looking for my brothers," Joseph replied. "Do you know where they are pasturing their sheep?"
"Yes," the man told him. "They have moved on from here, but I heard them say, 'Let's go on to Dothan.'" So Joseph followed his brothers to Dothan and found them there.
When Joseph's brothers saw him coming, they recognized him in the distance. As he approached, they made plans to kill him.
"Here comes the dreamer," they said. "Come on, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. We can tell our father a wild animal has eaten him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams."
But when Reuben heard of their scheme, he came to Joseph's rescue. "Let's not kill him," he said. "Why should we shed any blood? Let's just throw him into this empty cistern here in the wilderness. Then he'll die without our laying a hand on him." Now Reuben was secretly planning to rescue Joseph and return him to his father.
So when Joseph arrived, his brothers ripped off the beautiful robe he was wearing. Then they grabbed him and threw him into the cistern. Now the cistern was empty. There was no water in it. Then just as they were sitting down to eat, they looked up, and they saw a caravan of camels in the distance coming toward them.
It was a group of traders taking goods down to Egypt. And Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain by killing our brother? We'd have to cover up the crime. Instead of hurting him, let's just sell him to those traders. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood."
And his brothers agreed. So when the traders came by, Joseph's brothers pulled him out of the cistern and sold him to them for 20 pieces of silver. And the traders took him to Egypt.
Sometime later, Reuben returned to get Joseph out of the cistern, and when he discovered that Joseph was missing, he tore his clothes in grief.
Then he went back to his brothers and lamented, "The boy is gone. What will I do now?"
Then the brothers killed a young goat and dipped Joseph's coat in its blood. They sent the beautiful robe to their father with this message, "Look at what we found. Doesn't this robe belong to your son?"
Their father recognized it immediately. "Yes," he said, "it is my son's robe. A wild animal must have eaten him. Joseph has clearly been torn to pieces."
Then Jacob tore his clothes and dressed himself in burlap. He mourned deeply for his son for a long time. His family all tried to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted.
"I will go to my grave mourning for my son," he would say, and then he would weep.
Meanwhile, the traders arrived in Egypt, where they sold Joseph to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and Potiphar was captain of the palace guard. And this is a story from the Word of God.
If you are using this video for a small group application, after watching this video, try retelling the story from what you heard.
Then read the text. Discussion questions are below in the Show More section.
May this story help you on your journey of life.
Be blessed.